Today we're going to be looking at a Relicts deck I put together for the month of October 2024. It's doing alright this season so far. There are many greedy decks going around with a lot of answer this or lose type engines, which I find are very difficult to disrupt with a deck like this that doesn't have a lot of control. I tried to put in some that make sense, and overall, we're just looking at slamming points for ourselves and focusing on our own strategy, and a lot of the things that we don't like to see on the ladder, we can try to bleed out if we have round control. So I find that this deck does a very good job of doing just that. So we'll go through the list here, I'll explain how to play it, then I got 5 games with live commentary for reference afterwards. So starting off, Magic Lamp seemed to be the for me because anything really goes tall, you know? So the Witch Apprentice will go tall. I don't really want to boost those to give them Veil. I would rely more on the Purify that we have with the Taskmaster. Same thing goes with the Ethereal play. I don't want to go too tall, then they get a lot of value out of removal. Same with Bloody Mistress, you could see the rest there. So I feel like one Purify just works out. You're probably wondering why I went with Naglfar Taskmaster instead of the Pellar play. Pellar sits 4 for 4, which is great. If there isn't a condition, a lot of the purifies that I think I'm going to be doing are offensive ones to get around a defender so that we can kill an engine outside of that. But we do have dominance fairly easy, right? A lot of 9-point lambs that we got going on in the early games. So to put in Pellar, you know, you're losing a point more often than not. So I figured, why don't we just go for the 5 for 4 every time, unless they're doing something absolutely crazy, but then they deserve it. So we have that play going on here. Lamp just helps set up Sabbath for the Witch Apprentice, adds another body to the row so we could split our points out wider, which is nice. Morvid, to me, feels like an auto-include card for every single monster's deck that you could think of. However, it does even get more of a benefit being a relic. So at the end of your turn, while in hand, deck, or graveyard, increase own base power by 1. So you want to save this card for the last save of the entire game. You don't want to be playing this early because it does not grow on the board, okay? So round control is important if you want to have this protected sitting around 20 points. If I have to average out what I'm getting for Morvid throughout a current game, it's something around 18 points, which is what you can expect for it, and I think that's really good for a finisher for something like this. We have Oneiromancy for consistency. I'm loving this card at 12 provisions, so I'm playing it more often than I would if it were at 13. So having it here is nice, and we have a tutor for the tutor. I think Lady of the Lake here is nice because she's a relic, so when we're looking to play relics to have pockets of them, like the Gansean, where on deploy, increase this unit's base power by 2 for each adjacent relic. This is really good at helping create that pocket. And it's also great for proccing the self-feeders, because with this one here, I like to half them and go wide with the points. I don't want to go too tall with the deck, even though it can go super tall. But if I split these up, then I have engines that whenever I play a relic, increase own base power by 1. I'd rather have 2 of these than 1 of these, so we get this out there by playing something as simple as Lady of the Lake. We're able to go and get 1 proc, and let's say we pull into another relic that's a double proc. Let's say we're pulling into one of the unicorns, we have the other unicorn in hand, that's 3 procs on a turn. So you can imagine how quickly the self-feeders get out of control. And since I'm not bringing these back with an incubus or anything like that, I don't mind them going short, and they're not my ideal target either way for the Mamuna play, which is the next card here. So again, having these in your grave at 2 points or 1 point does not matter to me, really. Next card is Mamuna. Banish a bronze unit from our graveyard and boost self by its power, then summon a copy of it from your deck to this row. Keep in mind, if we have Sabbath, we play the copy instead, so you got to be careful when you're going for something like Griffin, that you have the board state so that you don't mind playing this card. If you don't want to do it that way, you just want to summon the card, then make sure you don't have Sabbath before you do it. Another good target for that would be the Gansean. A backup plan to that really would be the Witch Apprentice for me, depending on the matchup. Sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't. Also depends on the length of the round. If we're going into a short round 3, you're not pulling the Witch Apprentice. It's a waste of time. So we have that there. The Bloody Mistress, to me, is often removal bait. So this is something that if you're not getting a lot of value out of it, I understand the reason behind taking it out. However, if we're going into a Relics deck, I feel like it's kind of essential to have something like this in here. You know, you could swap it out for another wild card if you want to play something fun and quirky like Yaga, for example, you could try that. I didn't. You could always play She Who Knows. Again, you could try that. I didn't. But you can also just do something safe like a Heatwave, which is great, in around that slot. And then you could bump up a 5 to a 6, maybe put in a lock or something like that. Some ideas that I was thinking of before. Erendite makes sense because we have Lady of the Lake and we have Neuromancy. I don't like to play Lady of the Lake unless I have 2 Echo cards. The fact that I have Erendite, it's really easy to get value for the Erendite because at the end of the turn, if we have more points than the opponent, increase the damage by 1 wherever this card is. So hand, deck, graveyard, you name it, we're going to be getting +1 per turn. So this is like another really good endgame finisher, especially short round 3. If we can bleed into a round 2, we have Morvid, Erendite, we have a lot of points just in a couple cards. So having a second Echo card for Lady of the Lake is essential. If you're not a fan of Erendite, I suppose you can go for Hengate Sword. I don't think that it would be great in this deck because we don't really have ways to chip things down to get them within 5 power. And mind you, there's probably going to be a lot of targets anyways. I just think Erendite plays for consistently a lot more points in this case. Unicorns just feel essential here. I mentioned the procs to the Self-Eater. It's hard to ignore that. And also the consistency factor. I do have Oniro. We do have Lady of the Lake, don't get me wrong, but we do have Echoes that are going to be going into our draws. So to be able to get more cards out of the deck is important. So with the Unicorns here, you could play them in whichever order you want. So we can boost an Alayuna by 3. If we control Chironex, boost it by 6. If you have Chironex in your hand, also play it, then draw a card. So essentially, you play one from hand, the other one will automatically play, and you'll pull a card. If you don't have one, you can pull one from deck, play that, the one from hand will play second, essentially. Depending on the order that you play them in, the effects will be flipped. Pretty simple. And with that there, because we have one of those leader abilities as well that we can keep spawning out these tokens, we have a way to sort of exploit that by playing Ethereal, right? So we put down Ethereal, we're able to transform a fruit into another Ethereal. Next turn, we have to wait for the order, so it's once per turn. But the first time we have Zeal, which is great. So at least we're getting 10 points for 8 on the first turn. However many turns we can keep this card out there, the better the card gets. We can fill out the whole row worth of that. Just keep that in consideration. If you're going to be playing Ethereal, maybe don't play the Griffins in the same round because you kind of want to prioritize Ethereal, okay? And yeah, really good card. If they could stop it, then that's great for them. But otherwise, we're doing just fine. And I initially had Vial of Forbidden Knowledge in there because I felt like I put down the Vial on the range roll, let's say. We can boost this up so we can keep it safe for another turn, but it plays into tall removal, and it also fills up the space that I have. I go pretty wide with the Self-Eaters, with the Megascopes, and with the thinning and other stuff that we're doing that I just didn't feel like I wanted to have Vial in there anymore, so just something to keep in mind. Griffin's a really good target for removing fruits, getting a 9-point net on the board for 5 cost. Very simple, easy, effective. It has great swings for Erendite, really, but no repercussions, right? Like in other decks, you might actually lose something. In this, you don't. But you got to keep in mind, like, you need to have a fruit on that same row, or otherwise you're going to have to destroy something else. And we're going to be taking Griffins with the Megascopes, other Megascope targets, Self-Eater depending on the matchup, Witch Apprentice depending on the matchup, but Fiend is always a safe option, usually as a second to the Griffins. Easy to set up there. Fiends, pretty straightforward. Decrease own base power by 1 for each unit on the opposite row. I have played a lot against people who don't understand how to play Fiend. Basically, you're playing this, if their range row has like nothing on it, you're playing it on range row. Whichever row has the least cards on it, that's what you're playing on your side of the field, because I'm playing against people that are playing it in my most stacked row, and they're getting the least value possible out of it, so just want to clarify that for anybody who's curious. And yeah, can't go wrong with the Squirrel. Really banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. If there's a reoccurring unit that they can revive, if there's a reoccurring Echo, let's say Erendite, Coup de Grace, whatever the case, or Neuromancy, if you want to mess up their consistency, that's an option too. Just get rid of it. I like the Wild Hunt Riders. I don't think that they're absolutely required, but I like them. If you wanted to take them out, really, it's up to you, man. You can do whatever you want to do. Whether it be more removal, whether it be another purify, whether it be... I don't care. I'm sure anything is going to be fine. I don't think it's going to mess up the deck, you know? There's a lot of good force here. You can go for Thrive, you can go for Wolfpack end of the row, like, you can go for movement tech, you know? Use your discretion. This is not, like, what you all have to play. It's just a baseline, kind of a guideline of what to expect from Relicts and how I'd like to play them. So, hope you guys enjoy that, and let's get right into the gameplay, and I'll see you in the next one. So first up here we have Nilfgaard, Imposter. They go first, that's what we like to see. Let's get rid of the double here. I try to put back as many doubles as possible, but I don't mind playing into round 1 with 2 Fiends. And maybe just getting rid of one of these, because it's worth an extra point later. That's not bad.
The North shall tuck tail and beg for mercy.
This does not look like fun.
Yes.
So Erendite round 1's going to be a sad story. We're going to have to just play it down to 7 and pass, I think. Maybe 6. I don't really even care about using fruit, but might as well put it down. Okay, we get free range. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere fast. Hopefully I could somehow keep dominance here. Let's get one of the names out of the way. We have the Ardfane out of the way. And we have the Emir out of the way. I don't know why you'd want to damage something that thrives, but sure. Yeah, it's not going to happen for me. Maybe with the Gansean here.
No, I don't clear the ladder and they'd fall right out.
Just the fact that you're hitting that token is very questionable. Leave the bleeding and let me just do my thing. If I can get out the riders in round 1, I'm feeling really good. Yeah, it looks like they're expecting the dominance play. We do not get it to work. Too many statuses. So 20, Thrive 1, less 3. I'm just gonna have to play something like this, really. And then we just get this back next turn. But I'm probably not even going to be able to play into the next turn. So one thing to consider too is with this leader, they're likely going to try to take my Bloody Mistress, which makes it not very attractive for me to play. There's no room. Yeah, no room. Because we're going to be losing 5 points here. We get 8. Okay, I get 8. We lose 5. I put this down. Is there any way that I can get it in 1? Mamoon is bricked at this point. I would have liked to go a bit deeper here. I was thinking if we played Witch Apprentice here, we get it to 26. we start going, but there's nothing that's going to complete that. So keep in mind, in round 1 we did play both of the Fiends, right? We have one of these that we can pull with Muna, which is great, but we want to have Sabbath in order to do that. I think we're going to put back one of the Apprentice here, and it's not a bad place to be. On a pass we take a Thin, we take an Oniro. I think they're going to dig a little deep though. If they can get Masquerade down before I play anything, it's going to be good for them. No? There we go. We'll take a few turns. Doesn't really matter if I play the fruit, but let's get in the right habits here. Consideration to have gone into deck to get the other Griffin, or to go Lady into Erendite, but I don't even know if we want Erendite going into round 3. So long round against Masquerade Ball with literally Masquerade Ball and Philip and all that. So it feels unwinnable. The fact that they're able to go first in round 1 makes it so that they have this really good setup, you know? How can we just not get everything ruined? I'm gonna have to put this back for sure. And I think I'm gonna put the Bloody Mistress back, if I'm being honest. Yeah, that's not terrible. Lady of the Lake goes into Erendite if we can get it going. Ethereal. I just don't have the Purify, and they're gonna lock that right away. But it might be the best option that I can get. It just does already have a status though, so it's easy to just start taking them all down, really. Let's just kind of gauge things and see what we're doing here. Because I can break up the Self-Eaters and go shorter if we need to. It's also another bad target, the Witch Apprentice. Really? It's not that big of a deal, no. I mean, I'll take that, but this could be a problem, but I think we're supposed to just let our stuff die and save the 6 removal for the Philip. Now, we have to stay ahead of the curve here, obviously, and get down as many points as we can. I'm going to be swarming. Doesn't really matter. I don't think Ethereal is going to be the play. It's likely going to be Mistress since I took that leader. Just do this now.
They say you are what you eat.
Maybe they miss ball. I feel like that's kind of the only thing that would give us a chance. Damn.
I am at your devoted service.
I don't think it's worth to go and try to pull a Purify for that, but Erendite's at 5, and it reduces a lot of points because Alba Pikeman was played in round 1. So if I take this early, I think I'm supposed to, honestly, man, because it's playing for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you double that if they have the dame on the board. Just sucks that we get 1 on the 4, but I think they're waiting for us to go taller before they play ball, just because sometimes our deck will run Heatwave. That's kind of a big deal too. Do I take the bait? Damage by 9. So if I basically remove this at 6, it's playing 15 points. They don't have Philip, but man, that is tough. I know what they're doing too. As soon as we go and we remove that, then they're gonna start playing the combo. I think I'm just going to take the bait. I gotta focus on what I can actually see right now, you know what I mean? We get ethereal organically. The problem is I have nothing to do with ethereal, because this is here. So what I could do is I could Mamuna, kill off the fruit, and then go for it on the range row. We're losing 4 points though. Yeah, see? Told you.
The Van Moorlehems, they truly spoil us.
And then Mamuna, the fact that I'm going to be giving it what it wants, you know? Is there anything in deck that's better? $29 on the front. I can't even go too short here. The only thing I can do is delay things a little bit more by trying to go base copy Self-Eater and scaring them that way. Because I don't mind if they poison out 4s and 3s and 6s, but once we start getting into like 11 plus, that's where they get all the value. They did a great job of thinning as well. Yeah, you see they're trying to buy some time. I guess we give them... Do I take a transform? If I transform it, then they have to try again with the poison. And then we do it again. Chances are they're going to go and they're going to take this out, right? They can just give it lock off of Philip, they get Zeal. Just once we start getting into 5 points on a Gurney fruit, it's not looking amazing. We'll take maybe the second Gan out of the deck here instead of the Griffin play. Actually, you know what? You know, we just jam, we'll just jam Bloody Mistress next. I need some engine value, right? So far it's even on engines. Well, technically we have one more, so we have the 2 here. Yeah, this is what I was most concerned about. It's going to be worth a lot of points, but it's tough because they have a lot of threats. And, I wonder if I should ever just put this down first. Here, now or never, really. I'm really just depending on Philip not being part of the deck, or not being part of the hand. If they poison out the Bloody Mistress, at least we have the fruits, and they're gonna thrive minimum 3 times here. Yeah. GG's. I don't see how we find a better way to do this, right? Let's go for the pocket. And we'll play the Thrive curve as effectively as we can, you know? And then we're going to have to try to get the Apprentice down. We might just win off of point difference, but... we are slamming quite a bit over the next 2 turns. I do get 2 Thrives off the Apprentice. And then we're getting no procs off the Self-Eater, obviously, because, you know, it is what it is. Okay. Up by 2. Gain by 2. It's coming down to the wire, bro. So they definitely do poison out the Gurn. And then depending on how much they have left, because I was worried about this swing, and we took care of that. They could have Vincent in hand. If they have Vincent in hand, then the Morvid dies. Could just also be Ku.
That's the right shout.
I think we're just done here, guys. It's a good effort, at least. I think it's Vincent kills the 18. I still think taking that Alba was the best move. Yeah, they're gonna get the Vincent right here. No? Unless... That's still too much. It's probably the toughest matchup in the game for what we're playing. So we have Nature's Gift, Scoia'tael coming up here next, and we tempo dump, they tempo dump. They're gonna push for sure, and could probably put back Erendite. I think we want to have 2 Apprentice, because if I can somehow get ahead, stay ahead, and then, you know, just ride the wave, I'm doing really nice. I'm gonna put back one of the Gans here. That's a bit better. The sooner I can get in a position where we're getting at least one of the pigs down, the better. So we're gonna go Self-Eater and try to bait out a Rebuke, because the last thing I want to do is have Ethereal rebuked on turn 1. Yeah. I'm starting to question whether or not Relicts were the move, you know, but 16, 11, net 5, plus 1, 21, 25. We're almost at pig territory here. Well, soon. I still have dominance, so we're going to take this opportunity. There's nothing for them to hit for 5, so I'm likely going to be able to get the pig down safely. Just, we're going to have to play both of them, I'm pretty sure. I think it's a good trade. We got Aquan out of the way, and we're starting to get the fledglings out of the way and stuff, so... I don't mind playing both of the Apprentice here if I can go ahead and save the Mistress for a long round. We can't really play anything else, though. It's kind of awkward. Keep in mind, too, they have Simlas, which is just a lot of points. And they can just play that whenever they want, if they feel it's worth it, right? If it's going to get them a round win on even, they have enough left after Simlas to still win the game with Gord and all that, so... We're getting 4 points per turn. It's not doing much better than what they're capable of here, so... What else we got? 2, 3... I'm gonna have to play Bloody Mistress, unfortunately. Short round with Point Slam could just be better for me, though. They did get rid of one of the Self-Eaters, so I could just go and take out the other one if I have to play in. The only reason why I'd want to play in here is so we get the most value out of this stuff as possible. I think I'm going to do it, guys. They're running out of real estate here as well, so... Please, just make it worth it. We get a little thin out of the way as well. We get another Thrive proc. The fact that we're barely keeping ahead is scary. We're getting 7 points per turn. Well, that's my pass. They go up 3, we go up 7. Expensive round. The power of Aquan in a bunch of bronze cards is crazy. So Ladiance will Nero is fine. I think we're going to be putting back the Megascope a little too slow for this one. It's decent. I just want to get in the behavior of playing the fruit. Not that it matters in a pass round, but...
Welcome back, Geralt of
I'm going to take both my Echoes. So very much winnable still. Consistency out of the way. We got Frog Mating Season out of the way. Aquan out of the way. I did trade Mamuna and actually quite a lot. A lot of my engine value, right? We have a lot of stop plays. Okay, that's not bad. That's a net 8 right there. We get the pocket right there. We'll Neuromancy into Kyrenex. Problem is I wish we could have done this the other way around where that was the unicorn, but I think I'm just gonna have to take this and roll with it. They're gonna have a rebuke in pocket, so what I'm gonna do regardless is take Fiend so that we don't get the -1 and we'll just do this other stuff after. I'll just play this on melee. Sabbath isn't really a big deal here. Frisiane, should I respect that? It does have vitality. Yeah. Problem is, we're going to get a boost on this, and I don't want to do that. It's going to take one turn of this, and then I'll try to figure it out with Erendite after. I don't like this at all. I want to kill this, I want to kill this. They're going to kill this for sure.
Lady of the Wood.
No? Okay, it's Devotion. I was, like, really worried about that whole Sim last play, but... That's a lot of Symbiosis, though. Here's what we'll do. We gotta stop that ASAP. And then I'll take out one of these.
No mercy! Pride is all we've left.
It's a lot of points. I can't even take it out now. They must not have rebukes because they don't value this a lot. We gotta find out more points here, don't we? I'm gonna have to take the whole unicorn play. We need points. Just protect it while we can, might as well. For a second, I'm thinking I had Erendite in hand. That's a no. I still stand by it. This looks winnable. It's close.
Blueberries, blueberries, lady of the woods.
If they have a circle of life, they have the reach with the canal, but I wonder what they can fit though, because they played Philevandrel and they played Ethne, so there's two very expensive cards here. Okay, it was a little late for that. I guess you had to get down your other stuff. It's possible they have room for Simlas, but they also played Mating Season. They play Fav in this. They have double tutors in this. I'm starting to think that maybe they don't have Simlas. Just in case, I guess, anything happens to the Fiend, we have to take the Fiend because it'll be base power, so it'll be 5 if I take it that way, which is just not good. Sure, we'll just play that. That's going to thrive up to 3. Nothing crazy. Ethereal still plays for 20 points. I'm not disappointed. That's 8 provisions right there, you know? They're running out of space. So if they're going to go... They're going to have to play Gord before they Simlas, if they somehow have both. So with the 9 here, the 1 here, the 8 here, 74, 20 points, 2 left. I think they win, if I'm being completely honest. No, never mind. I think we might win. That's your Gord. But your Gord's not playing for 20 points. It's playing for maybe 18. Okay, never mind. We lose.
You are no lunatic.
Unless they don't have space. If they run out of space... Yes! That's one of the issues with Nature's Gift, right? Just, you run out of space in that long round 3. Otherwise, they win this, right? Well, most certainly. Syndicate, Hidden Cache, coming up here next. So we go first. They might try to play scenario to really get something going for us in a long round. We got to be careful about that. I can get rid of Boat in a round 2. I kind of want to keep Squirrel. The rest of this is not bad. I just have a bricked unicorn. I don't love that. I want to be able to play deep. I'm going to put, of course. I'm gonna hold this one now. I'm going to put this back. I'm going to take Oniro from Lady of the Lake. It's likely just going to be Self-Eater into Fiend and such.
Hearts, livers, awful deliciousness.
Bincy.
Why bother with the door when the window's open?
I enjoy playing Bincy. Fortunately, my deck doesn't. We're gonna lose. We don't have dominance, right? So that's gonna be tough. We played a long game here. There's no disadvantage of playing Fiend, right?
Just doing my bit for this fine.
I revealed this card if you haven't seen that. And I honestly have not played it more than once. I tried it, I just didn't think it was that great. When I see this, I'm kind of excited. Maybe it's not the most optimized deck. I can go, let's see. I flip that, that's 6 spaces, and then I put 3 more, and then we have, I think that's actually the move. Riders would have been great here, but I gotta respect the process, you know? Boom, boom, and then we just play Riders on Range Road. This will keep climbing for me, though, so it makes it very easy to get what we gotta get. Now, Would have been nice if I could play at least one more relic this round, because we have a really good board state with the 3 self-eaters.
I love the city.
I think we still click. 10 points. I can't play riders. What I can do though is I can just go for my... I'll just go for a Nero. And I think if anything... If I play an apprentice, they're likely going to pass. But I could likely get away with the Megascope. I want them to play in here because then we just win. And I'm probably going to pass with the riders in hand, if I'm being honest. Because we're going to go up to 51. Yeah, okay. GG. Actually, no. Never mind. Never mind. This is going somewhere. I'm getting 3 points. I'm getting 2 points. I don't know, man. If I just go into a long round 3 with the 2 apprentice, assuming they don't have poison, we're in a really good spot. I'm still up 23 points. We're going to be getting 2 more points at the end of this turn. They're going to have to play down to minimum 4.
Long ships are overrated.
Honor and glory.
Okay, I'm a genius, right? I wasn't expecting it to be like this. I was thinking that they get it by 4 and then... Yeah, Yago's coming out here, so we're guaranteed to have card advantage. Had they got this down maybe a little sooner. I could see why you'd want to hold it though. This game should be a win unless I do something bad. So, that's cool. Squirrel is really good here, and we get the Finn out of here just in case they play in. I'm happy with this. I don't think you play in. Imagine. Just jam scenario. Oh my gosh. No way. Does any part of this heal her? I think we still go for Ethereal. I'm thinking that this is just them saying, well, you know, we've done a lot, so let's just keep going. You know? It's one of those. Whenever opponent gains coins damage, yeah, we gotta somehow dish this off. I'm gonna take the first Erendite here after. You know? Just hopefully it goes in this one. There we go. Nice. We got dominance, so now the riders come down. That's gonna be a problem. I have no answer to the MK unless I really just want to cheese. Because I can go and I can play the Unicorn from deck. And then Chironix, you know? I think I'm going to, regardless. The only thing I'm worried about is drawing into... Maybe I shouldn't have boosted the one that's probably going to die anyways, but... They are full pockets, so... Yeah, I was worried about drawing into the other rider, but fortunately, the 1 out of 10 doesn't curse us now. Yeah, so we just... Ah, man, you're not gonna let me get out this card, bro. Just because I'm in a position I can do this, I think I'm just gonna be playing the Fiend less the 2. So we played for 6. It's whatever. We're up by enough that I think we should just be alright. They have no more coins. We'll go into round 3 with probably a 2-card advantage. Man, a little late for Salt. I think Salt should have come down one of the first cards here. Do I have room to play Squirrel for nothing? Because I don't think they can fill bank in round 3, and I don't really want to carry this over when I have other stuff. And I can't obviously play the Rider, so... Is there anything else that's kind of scary? I don't see them playing a Renew or anything of that effect, but in case... Okay. So we have a 4... Yeah, they're just gonna forfeit this, unfortunately. 4-card advantage going into round 3. I'm just gonna hold, just because I don't want to brick this if they do play. So what do we have for Mamuna? I'm pretty sure it's in good standing. I have a Self-Eater, and that's it. So we're gonna take it now. That's a problem too, but we're gonna just be milking the Ixora with the fruit, which is nice. And it doesn't proc Thrive on the first one, so it's gonna be good for me. We'll take 5 here. Take a 5. We'll probably click these and spread. Yeah, get a pig down. Akarancha. If they're trying to make up for... If they're relying on this combo to win, I don't know if it's gonna get you there, but... I wonder if I just take... I'm more concerned about Akarancha than I am... But it is 12. If they play Candle's going to be blowing coin. I'm just going to stick to the script, really. We'll see what they play and how they play it. I'm pretty sure we're just fine. That was cool. Aeronite was at 17 and counting. Would have been at about 20, 21. We got Nilfgaard Imposter. Little rematch against the archetype, hopefully. They just whipped up the deck to no card back, so it could be a good thing for me. Lady into Onero is probably the early game play. I have 2 of the Gans. I don't mind that, assuming the Self-Eater stays. I keep this for the coup. We have this for this. The problem is that this and this are, again, targets in this matchup that I don't like. Maybe it's just the Megascope for the Self-Eater instead. That's a bit better. I gotta use my control stuff wisely, and we have to spend round 1 trying to get out as much as we can so that we don't go into a long round 3 against these guys, because if that's the case, it's just, it's over. We've seen this one play out. We're going for the max value. Okay, it's just... It's not what I thought. It could be cultists. It could also just be Renfrey. Renfrey anything. I don't know, man. I'm going to lean, if I had to guess, I'm going to say cultist right now, because you infuse this with cultist, it's a gold card you could play. I think I'm going to take the Wild Hunt Rider while I can here, and then we're going to go into Self-Eater. The fact that I have both unicorns in round 1 facing each other, perfect symmetry in hand, beautiful. Ah. Do I ever just ethereal that? Because they make like 10 copies, right? Man. I'm going to try, okay? I'm going to try. And I'm going to put this here so we get a little bit more value off the damn thing, but I don't love the move, honestly. I feel like that's a lot of points later on I would like to have, but I want to see what goes on with this whole thing here. To me, it's important for them to get that. It doesn't work like that. Hey, if I can trade Yen for Ethereal instead of like a Mamuna or Bloody Mistress, I think we're doing just fine. And do we care about Sabbath? Kind of. I want to get Leader out of the way, we do. I'm going to play this on range, though. I need to be able to split and then play these. And if we could save Bloody Mistress, all the better. But if I had to choose, I would play down my entire hand, except for the unicorns. I think that's kind of expensive. Mind you, get rid of one of these is kind of a big deal. We also get the Thin out of the way. And if I can pull into somehow Miracle, yeah, it's kind of GG's, right? Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it. The whole hand is disposable when you're playing against this meme trickery, right? So we'll just look at it that way. Mamuna's okay. We're still up by a lot of points. Then we could just value bleed in round 2. Cancerella plays garbage, please. Ah, terrible for you. That's like a 4-point net. Look at that. 3 less 2. It's even worse. I'm gonna take Click here, just because I can. I'll put this so it looks pretty. I think we're gonna put it here. We'll do this one after, or maybe yeah, we can't put it up here. This should just be enough. I think we have to tempo pass at some point here. The whole strategy that they've invested all this resource into figuring out is not working. So I think what they're trying to do now, looking at it, is the Tibor spam, creating a bunch of Tibors at the top of their deck going into a long round 3 and just killing every single thing that I play. Coup off Cantarella. Go ahead and mill me. Just as long as you don't get my Erendite.
Let us see.
Okay. That's enough. I think I'm good. They take leader place for like 5 points. Plus a status, like... Darren?
Oh, don't dare cross me, or my friend here.
You think you would have played that before you played these, right? Because you had Operator. 16 points? They're going to be able to flip something on the range roll. I'm sure they will.
My duties? To stick my nose where it doesn't
Yeah, too bad it spawns to the right. So you can't flip that, or otherwise you lose the points. I mean, you could do a 2-turn on it.
Hey, my eyes are down here.
They get the flip here, they lose 1 point. So they actually have to play another card. Which is crazy. Yeah. And what? You got one Tibor? Sure. I don't think that's enough to do it, man. If I have to get rid of something, Negascopes here are not very good for me. We are milled out pretty hard, though. I don't have anything good left. What do they take from me? It can't be ethereal, because it has doomed. I guess we're just gonna do this, and maybe on a pass I play Mamuna so I can keep as many cards as I can. Mamuna's gonna play a Fiend. Get a scope. Okay.
When pigs fly, eh?
I don't have dominance. We'll get the Fiend out of the way. Oh, that's right. They played it. Okay. Damn. Self-Eater, nope. Fiend, no. I guess we just take the 9 points and go next. In that case, I would have actually played this on melee, but
I shall be your eyes, my lord.
9 points here. They're at 24. I likely go and get rid of this, just so they don't get the extra points, and then whatever you want to do. They should really play this Fiend on the right row. I understand they want to have Sabbath, but... Oh yeah, it's my own Nero, okay. Gotcha. And how did they get that again? Oh yeah, yeah.
Right! Trample them into the mud!
They got 12 cards. I think we get rid of this Onero. So I'm sitting on a 5-card event. Yeah, it goes like that sometimes. So actual Nilfgaard, when it comes to status and all that, it's a really big challenge for this deck. When you play against something like this, we do have a lot of tempo. It's just about preventing them from getting really that copy on our side. Because if they're able to duplicate that, it would have been really bad. The bleed in round 2 with 3 or 4 Tibors would have been a problem. So if you're in this situation, use Ethereal and convert their first copy, and you should win. Alright, we have time for one more, and this will be the third matchup against the same leader, Nilfgaard Imposter. We're on red coin, which is amazing. And the hand's good too. Wow, okay. This is leader bait. This is leader bait. I believe in the mulligan, but I don't right now, you know? I think we're just going to keep it.
We conquered Gesso! These lordling scum are no better!
Okay. That's kind of annoying. They play a second one. They leader it. I don't necessarily want to kill it either. There's going to be worse stuff to kill, right? It could just be a matter of we play in as deep as we can before we can't, you know? One of those type things. We'll try that. At least I have a target that we can use the Griffin for. I'm gonna have to let you get that off, really. It's funny, because my previous version of the deck had Toad Prince, and I did try to slot in a Dorregaray, but it's not looking good. Yo, value? Because you're going to coup that. If I can somehow get enough value here that we can go and we could take out this guy, it's going to save me a lot of trouble. So we have 3, 2. Okay, we have 2. So in 2 more turns, I can have at it. I could take the armor off now, but I don't want to go and do all that. Then they have a way to get armor back.
I need not spill blood.
Fiend's not the best target.
Like never before.
I want Erendite to keep going. So I'm going to play this. I'll stack for Sabbath at this point. It's getting tough though. 19 points, less 2. That should be almost enough. Yeah, one more turn. If I play Bloody Mistress and it flips, then they take leader. And we get it out. But I have to wait a bit longer because if they do that, they probably win the round. I'm getting out a lot of good quality engines, though, in exchange for thinning and 4 or 5 provision cards, you know? What I think they're trying to do, though, is later on, they're going to take Illusionists, and they're going to try to make a bunch of copies of this on their side of the board and go nuts. So, it's unfortunate that we do have one in the grave, but... the card's dead, so if I take Megascope here, they're getting 0 points. And I have a second one, too. And it actually keeps Erendite going, which is crazy. Let's take the second one. We'll probably go for the Witch's Apprentice.
You will not regret this, sir.
I guess Fiend on the range row is pretty good. 35 points. Plus 9. We take the second one. And then this tempos. They do have 5 engines. I have none. Something to think about.
Go to hell, perverted hag!
It's not bad. What do they kill? One of these. It's crazy. If I used Mamuna, it would turn that off entirely, which would be amazing, but it's doing a lot. Here. It's going to take 4 hits, but it's going to go up 2. So we're going to get the 9, that, and then we just play in off that. Lady of the Lake into Oniro, into Erendite, I think is the play instead.
The righteous shall be recompensed.
We'll kill one of them. Not a pass, we're just gonna play whatever. But I think if they go in... Okay. What do you got in grave here? Just in case, I'd like to play Squirrel, but I gotta play it smart. So I'm gonna be losing 2 points. So 37 less 2 is 35. We need to play the Apprentice.
When pigs fly, eh?
I can't be afraid of the bleed either. This is not bad, but they're probably going to stop the split. However, I don't think I'm going to be carrying that. We just got to go for it, I think. Let's see. Just a little bit, not all the way. I have Mamuna to save us if I get in trouble. I'm hoping that they can just give me the opportunity to split that and play this on ranged row and then maybe play this. Terra Nova's gonna play into a Fiend. Oh, one of those. Okay.
We conquered Qcento. Northling scum are no better.
I don't know if I want to use second arrow. It's kind of tough. I'm gonna split you now, though. I'll take unicorns.
None can match the power of Nilfgaard.
The unicorn play is good because I get a double proc off this, you know? Well, I can't. Darn. So then it's likely just going to be Mamuna plus Gansian. Unless we could somehow stretch this. We have 10 points in the front row. I can go Mamuna, and then we can try to play Mistress. And try to bait Mistress off of... Or we just do it first. At the very least, we can go 1 then 2. And Mamuna could be like a last resort. And then round 3, we lead him with Ethereal, which is good. I'm in a decent spot. I don't know why you disconnect. Hopefully it's not intentional and it doesn't last. I want to play this, but... It's really possible they just don't have anything. Because they didn't have anything early on that's going to help with consistency besides the fur card, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Yeah, it was the fur cart. We got a lot of provisions out in round 1 though. It's like 7, 9, 7, 7. If I'm being completely honest, I think we had that anyways. Because we had the 3 points plus the 9 in the middle. That's a 12-point play. Plus we had 20 points that were just sitting on for security. And then we had this. Round 3, Ethereal, Morvid, you know, the rest.